Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Conversation with Freedom. On this podcast, I'm blessed to have amazing people to come and share their stories. Today, I have a very special guest. She's so amazing, and the work that she's doing is very inspiring. And I'm telling you, after this after this episode, you're definitely gonna check her out and you're gonna follow her work. Her name is Kuumba. She's from London. Kuumba, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Welcome. Welcome indeed.
Yeah. Kuumba, what does it mean?
Kuumba, it's one of the principles of Kwanzaa, Ngusaba, and the principle of Kuumba is the principle of creativity, and it means you leave your community slightly better than you came and found it.
Okay, that's great. That's amazing, John. You are an author. You are a speaker. You do a lot of different things. And my first question for you is there such thing as life and work balance? Does that exist?
That expression was, yes, sometimes, but not often. What happens is, I tell you, I'm very blessed in as much as the work that I do, I really love. So it doesn't feel like it's taking me away from life. It feels like it's adding to life. The work I do with clients is very rewarding. You see people shifting in huge ways. And the bits I don't like are the admin that take forever. But yeah, I love the work. So in answer to your question, yes-ish.
Okay. For those people who don't know who Kuumba is, please give us a little bit of background of who you are, everything that we need, everything that people need to know about you.
Everything, huh? Okay. So let me make it. Let's get going then. Okay. So I am a life transformation specialist for entrepreneurs, and what that means in practice is that I help entrepreneurs who are facing personal challenges, major changes or challenges in their lives, and who are trying to work with what happens when life gets in the way of business, and often when business gets in the way of life. It's the latter that we need to worry about often.
Okay.
Yeah. And that can be anything. That can be anything from the end of a relationship. It can be selling a business and all the doubts, fears, insecurities that come with that. It can be starting a business and everything in between, really. Sometimes people just lack confidence and doubt themselves. They're not quite sure of what direction to take. And there is something very specific about running a business and facing those kinds of challenges, because nobody really gets it. You'll know from your own experience. You do what you do and you love what you do.
Yeah.
But the people around you don't necessarily understand or know what that is.
That's true.
And when you speak to somebody, it can be very painful, actually, and a very lonely journey. So when things come up that you feel you ought to be able to cope with, but you're struggling with, it's helpful to have somebody like me to help you navigate the challenges and get through to the other side.
I need you in my life. I
have a client that says everybody needs a Kuumba, which is really interesting.
Yeah, I really do. Yeah, I really do need someone like you in my life.
And just to touch on the authorship, about, oh gosh, it feels like forever now, but about 10 years ago, I wrote a book called The Circle of One: How to Heal Your Relationships and Live Your Truth. And The Circle of One, it was amazing the way it came about, because it was based on the experience I was having with clients. So I had a period whereby all of my clients were coming to me with issues that weren't just their issues, they were my issues, if I was honest. And so I found myself saying to them the things that I should have been saying to myself. And it became apparent, that they were reflecting back a lot of the things that were going on with me, not in a way that it interferes with the work with them, but there is a space for going away and looking at how you were showing up in your life, in my case, how I was showing up in my life in similar ways. So
what's the name? What's the name of the book again?
The Circle of One, How to Heal Your Relationships and Live Your Truth.
Wow, the title is very captivating. How long have you been doing this, Kuumba?
Oh, way too long, Freedom. 2004, so the last 17 years I've been doing this. Yeah.
Wow, I was so young in 2004. I was very young.
Tell me, oh gosh, you're gonna make me feel so bad. Tell me how young you were in 2004.
I think I was around 2000. You're saying 2000 when did you?
Four.
And four. I think I was around 8 or 10, 8 or 9, okay. Somewhere.
8 or 10. Right, thank you very much for making me feel very, very old. But never mind. I won't hold it against you. I won't hold it against you. But yes.
And for me to be able to do this with you, it's a dream come true, because you've been doing this for a very long time, and I feel honored to know you and for you to have you on this platform. It's for me, it's like a dream come true, I'm telling you.
Well, I am thankful to be a part of your circle, so thank you too.
So most entrepreneurs who are busy trying to start up something, who want to do something, they face a lot of rejection. How do you deal with rejection, and what kind of advice would you give to someone who's like facing rejection? They want to start, but the people just don't believe in the vision, in the dream. They're like, no, it can't happen. What kind of advice would you give to someone?
Okay, so I'm going to quote a client of mine.
Yeah.
When I asked him, he'd been in business forever. His father had been in business, and he had taken over that business and started various businesses of his own. Yeah. And I asked him, because there are times when things can get really rough. There are demands financially, there are demands on your time, there are demands in terms of your family circumstances. Yeah. And sometimes people have visions that are huge, and they have a passion that fires them up, and they're looking to meet that vision. Yeah. And when I asked him about that, he said to me, you know what? I've always backed myself. When everybody else didn't believe in me, I backed myself. And it's taken me a long time. I told you I've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
It's taken me a long time to get to that point, because in the beginning, especially if it's only you and there's nobody else who's thinking the way that you're thinking, or see things the way that you see things, it's just, I say it's just, but it's just a thought in your own mind. It's an idea. Yeah. And for you, it's like, oh, this is really exciting, but can I do this? Can I do this? And that question comes up over and over again. And every time you get knocked down, you think, maybe I can't do this.
Yeah.
Maybe I should go and get a job or do something else, right?
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's really, really hard.
Very hard.
Yeah, and the shift is, I guess the shift is very incremental, because the more you do it, the more that happens, and the more you still feel driven to meet that vision. You still feel driven to bring that to fruition. Is the more you start to think, well, maybe this is just a conversation in my head. Let me ignore the circumstances.
Wait. Okay. Yeah, you can carry on.
Sorry.
No,
right,
it's
so
fine. It's fine.
I was saying, sometimes it gets to the point where you think, well, can I meet this vision? And after a while, after so many rejections, there is the question of, well, I'm still here. Yeah. I'm still here. I haven't gone anywhere. The fire in my belly is still there. So I'll carry on. I guess the question you were asking me is, what happens when you get the rejection?
Yes.
And like what goes on in those moments when somebody says no, or somebody says, I think this is a bit too grandiose an idea, and maybe you want to go there and make it a bit smaller and cut it down. And I think the honest answer to that is that you feel the feeling. You go away and you feel the feeling, because that feeling consists of so many things. And when you don't allow yourself to feel the feeling, it's almost like a computer program taking up memory and slowing down your progress in the background, because you have that feeling of failure, you have the feeling of self-doubt, you have the feeling of maybe I'm pushing too hard, maybe I should just stay small and be quiet. And actually it's important to say to yourself, okay, so in your case, Freedom, it would be, all right, so they said no. Does that mean I can't do this? Does that mean I'm not good enough? I feel really bad. I feel like maybe I'm punching above my weight. I feel like maybe I can't do this.
Yeah.
And all of the feelings that come with that come up, and you allow them to come up. And that is uncomfortable. It's exactly. It's a very uncomfortable space. It really is. Yeah. But until you say out loud to yourself, until you tell yourself the truth, it just plays there, distracting you,
very true.
Hijacking you, making you procrastinate, making you avoid and distract yourself, avoid things and distract yourself. So it starts with the calling it out, saying it, calling it by its name, saying what it is, saying what the feeling is, and allowing the feeling to come up. And I know that's not easy, simply said, but not easy to do.
Wow, Kuumba, that's so profound. Then that's true.
It's real. It's real.
Kuumba, how do you define success?
Oh, success, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Success for me is, it's going to sound terrible.
No, take your time.
Success for me is about living fully in my power and my purpose. And it's about being joyful in this experience. It's about seeing the not just the good, seeing the positives in everything. It's about living fully. It's about knowing that what I've come to do makes a difference, and I matter, and enjoying the life that I've been given. I just celebrated a birthday last week, and
happy belated.
Thank you. Already, my mother died when I was 14 years old. So already I've surpassed the age that my mother was. And so that sense of, actually I'm here for a reason. That is part of what I perceive as success. If you were to ask me, do I feel successful? In part, because I don't feel like I've fully done what I came here to do. And I feel I have much more to do. So.
I understand. And then failure.
Well, there's a saying that says, you cannot fail. There's no such thing as failure until you stop trying. Yeah. So as long as you keep moving, there is not just the possibility, but the potentiality of achieving the thing that you're after. Failure is when you give up, I think. For me, it's when you give up. And that's not to say that, there's giving in, which is surrender, because sometimes circumstances are saying to you, actually, this is not the route for you. And, you plow on relentlessly, and every circumstance is saying, no. And there is a time when you pause and you say, okay, maybe not that route. But the difference is, it's maybe not that route, maybe it's not that destination. Giving up is when you say it's not that destination. Giving in is when you say, okay, maybe not that.
Oh, that's powerful. What are you inspired by? No, it's fine.
What am I inspired by? I am inspired by, I laugh because it's people, yes, definitely. My children constantly show me other ways of being and seeing the world.
Yeah.
But the reason I smiled is because it's not a person. I noticed, I like taking photographs, and I noticed all my photographs are of, I used to think it was nature per se. And I am inspired by nature. But what I realized is that my photographs are about light. They're about the sky in the different phases. So sunset, sunrise, when it's stormy, and there is something about light, natural light. There is something that just feeds me and inspires me and fills me up, and the child in me comes out. I you know, we're in winter in the northern hemisphere, and it's grey and it's miserable. Not my best time of year. However, when the sun's out, it can be freezing cold, but when there's light, when there's warmth, yes, but when there's light, I feel like I can do anything at all. It's like it just fills me up. And human beings, the resilience, the desire to be more, the desire to grow, it's what I do. So expansion as human beings lights me up also.
Where would you like to see yourself in the next 5 or 10 years? The brand and everything you do. Yeah.
Thank you. That's a lovely question. What I'd like to be doing is to be writing and speaking and developing the Circle of One. The Circle of One is, I think it's the simplest tool that I've encountered and the most profound, because the circle itself comes with a number of principles. It comes with 7 principles. And whilst the first book was about the tool, how to use the tool, how to see what's being reflected back to you, the principles in the 10 years since I wrote it have been the most powerful, the most supportive and accommodating for me. So, you know, I'll give an example. The first 3 are we are one. And so we are part of something that is greater than us. Everything around us reflects a facet of us, every single thing. And that connection to each other, to what I call source, to life, to everything, gives us a sense of compassion when we recognize it, and we see it in others and recognize it in ourselves. So that's the first principle. The second one is you are at cause, which is my favorite. Because I think I might be a bit of a control freak, actually. But you are at cause is a recognition that we all have personal power. We all have agency. We are all able to go on to the second principle, is that we are free to choose. We're always free to choose. Even when it feels that we're not, we can decide that we take responsibility for our lives. We act in our lives with responsibility, with compassion, with love, in a way that serves us and serves others. And those 3 principles alone. So, you know, I was talking about when you get knocked back, when you get rejected. That principle of you are at cause is about, okay, so this is where we are. Do you want to move on? Are you capable of moving on? Yes, you are. You are at cause, not effect, but cause. So you keep moving. So, but those are just a few of the things.
Wow.
So I'd love to do more of that work. I'd love to develop that further and to speak on it and to be very, very public in the sharing of that, because I think it's powerful.
Yes, it is. It is very powerful. What are some of the important lessons that you've learned in life? And because you've been,
I've been around a while.
Yes.
One of the important lessons is, let me see, it's often the things that go on in your head are just stories that you tell yourself. And it's those stories that often get in the way. The things that trip us up are not even the reality, because we have a perception of what the reality is, and often it's just what goes on in our heads. So again, there is that need to question, to challenge yourself, to ask, is that really true? I spent a lot of time just going round and round in circles, in the belief that oh, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm being too ambitious.
Yeah.
You know, other people know better. One of the things I do is I combine.
Okay. Sorry. You'll continue.
Go ahead.
I feel like you're talking to me. What you're saying, like I've been there. I've been there. I've been living there, and I'm like, you know, I don't know. This is prophetic.
I'm glad it's helpful, but what I would say is it's because it's very true for us as human beings, and that's the other thing when I say about it's just a story in our head. One of the stories is it's only me. I'm the only one that feels like this. There must be something wrong with me. Everybody else has got it going on. It's just me that's not up to scratch. And you hang around long enough, you work out that everybody's messed up, everybody's struggling, everybody's doing the best they can. And you just get on with it. But you know, you have to get past the first few years to recognize that, right?
Yes, that's true. Do you have any book recommendation? Books that have helped you along the way?
Do you know what? There's been many books that have helped me along the way. I'll name two. One of which I love to bits. That was, oh my goodness, just before I left employment to start my business. It was a book that I read. I'd be on the train reading it. I'd speak to somebody. I'd be so excited about what I'd read, and I'd give them a copy of my book. I did that 7 times. I bought that book.
Wow.
8 times, right? I gave it away 7, I bought it 8. And that book was Conversations with God by Neale Donald Walsch.
I would definitely check it out. I don't know it.
It's an amazing book. It's a book by a man who found himself in a difficult situation, in terms of work, in terms of his relationship, in terms of what was going on in his life. And he was railing at God. He was complaining that, you know, what life wasn't fair, and basically, why am I in this position? And he was writing, and as he was writing, the answers to his questions came back. Now, whether you believe it or you don't believe it is neither here nor there.
Wow.
It's a very powerful book. There are 10 questions that he asks, and he gets answers. And they're the kinds of questions that you and I ask all the time, that everybody who is in the world says, well, you know, I'm a good person, I do this, why is this happening? You know, I believe in myself. Actually, no, you don't. You think you do, you'd like to, but you don't. I'm good to people. Why is it that this is going on? Why is it that I feel so alone? All of that. And the beauty of it is that there's a line in it. My favorite line in this book, which is not what I was about to say, forgive me. But my favorite line that I quote to clients all of the time. In the work that I do, I work with people who like people who provide services, usually services, not usually products, but usually services to support other people.
Okay.
And those kinds of people are people who will give of themselves all the time. And they don't want to let people down, and they don't want people to feel bad. And they often put everybody else before themselves. And there is a quote in this book that I love, and it says, "A betrayal of oneself in order not to betray another is a betrayal nonetheless."
Say that again.
A betrayal of oneself in order not to betray another is a betrayal nonetheless. So if your problem is about betraying others, first be true to yourself. Because if betrayal is the issue, then both of them are betrayals. So choose you. Choose not to betray yourself first. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. There's a trilogy, but the first one will knock your socks off. I have to warn you, the first few pages you think, where is he going with this? And you get into it, and it's like it just opens up. And the second book, which is one that I just recently read, is We Should All Be Millionaires by Rachel Rodgers.
I don't know that
Rachel Rodgers.
The title is very captive.
Yes, it really is. And she just talks about, as a woman of color in the States, she talks about the history of women and money, marginalized peoples and money, and our relationship with money, and the things that we do or don't do that get in the way of us being able to make money. And to be fair, I mean, the fact that I've come to it at this point is quite interesting, because that whole toing and froing with the relationship with money, and whether or not you feel you're a good person, and all the things that you carry from other people about their perception of money that we absorb, all of that comes up in the book. It's a really powerful book. It tells you about the people in your circle who supports you, the friends that you need to let go of because they are not people that are supportive to what you're doing. They don't, they you know, it goes through a number of things, but I love that book.
I'm definitely gonna check those books out. I'm definitely gonna. Kuumba, I heard you talk about you've lived the way time in your life where you leave corporate and go to do your own thing. So when is the right time for people to leave their job and go start their whatever that they are trying? And what kind of advice would you give to someone who wanna do that?
In full transparency, don't do what I did. Don't do what I did. So I will give you context for that.
Okay.
I can be something of an all or nothing kind of person. I can be. And I'll qualify that with the fact that I had wanted to leave my job about 2 years before I actually did. And I stayed. I continued to work. I worked in local government. I managed a regeneration program, all sorts of things. And then my best friend from school passed at the age of, she passed at the age of 40. She just turned 40.
Sorry.
And it was, I didn't realize it at the time, which sounds really silly when I think about it. But so she passed in 2003. And the following year, I just thought, no, I'm not doing this anymore. It's time to go. And I hadn't realized the effect that her passing has had on me. But that, when I look back, that was definitely, I think, the key factor in my leaving. And when I say don't do it the way that I did, it was like, no, sorry, I'm done, I'm going. So I'd got rid of all debt. I had saved. And so I had a lot of money. But guess what? I had a business plan, but I didn't have a plan. All right. And so my advice would be, like, I had a way of making money by doing what I was doing, but I didn't have, people speak of really grand plans. I just knew freedom. It sounds so strange. I just knew that was what I was meant to be doing. I just knew that I had something that was powerful, and that I wanted to connect with people and to support people. And my friend's passing was the catalyst for that. But outside of that, I didn't have a plan. So the pragmatic, sensible, grown-up version of Kuumba would say, no, don't do that. The heart-centered Kuumba says, follow your spirit. Do what you're guided to do.
Kuumba, is there anything that you would like to share with us that I didn't ask?
I would like to share. There are times when this life and the goals, the vision we have for our lives seem insurmountable, that it can feel very tough. And we can feel very much alone.
Yeah.
And I guess what I want to say to you is, again, that's a conversation in your head. We are never alone. We are never, ever alone. Our highest self, our ancestors, everyone that has gone before us, everyone that we've ever met and who has contributed to the person that we are, whether positively or negatively, is part of who we are. And we only have to take time to be still, to connect with that, to recognize and feel the love that is with us always, always. So don't believe the stories in your head. I think that's the thing I'd like to say more than anything, because when you're on your own and you're on your journey, sometimes you feel very, very alone.
Yeah.
And it's not true. And I would say that to you, Freedom. You are not alone.
Thank you so much, Kuumba. You're so amazing.
You're very welcome.
How would you like people to remember you?
Oh, wow. You don't ask little questions, do you? How would... That's a really tough one. I would like people to remember me as someone who just wanted to be the best version of herself.
Yeah.
Conversations with God, the grandest version of the greatest vision of who I really am, which is an extension of Source. And all of my efforts are that. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I am constantly in pursuit of that.
Wow. Wow. So where can people get hold of you? Because I know that you're doing amazing work. And where can people find the work that you're doing? And
well, if kuumbania.com is my website. If they go to my website, what I'm happy to do is to give you a link to a gift that I think might be helpful for people, particularly if there are people who are looking at businesses or running their business and need to know some of the things that I've shared with you. I can do that. I can give you a link to that. But yes, Kuumba Nia, kuumbania.com, and I will give you the link.
Okay, thank you so much, Kuumba, for your time, and I would like to have you again on the show.
Thank you.
I feel like there's still a lot to talk about. We just don't have much time, and thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much, Kuumba. I truly appreciate you taking the time to do this with me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much, Freedom. Thank you.
Yes.